Hello everyone, it's DutchSimsMaster and welcome to this brand new The Sims 4 speed build. So today I'm building the Island Vibes Villa on the island of Sulani, or actually just one of the islands in the island group of Sulani, because Sulani obviously is a group of islands. Some are a little bit bigger, some are very small, and this is actually one of those very small islands which actually only has one lot on it, and on that specific lot I'm building today, and I was slightly disappointed that it wasn't possible to build like on the entire, or I hadn't expected to be able to build on the entire island, but I would have liked to see that it would go slightly more over the edge, so that you would really have that sort of vibe that you're building on your own secluded island. However, still obviously this is just on an island surrounded by nothing but palm trees and water, so just a perfect lot if you ask me, because personally, despite like the super inconvenience of not being connected to the outside world, I would love to live on an island like this. I guess this wouldn't be like my main house, you know. The moment you're able to afford a house like this one, I guess you've got multiple homes, and in that case I would really like to live here part-time, maybe every now and then, a couple of weeks or months a year, just to, you know, get relaxed from your work, because obviously if you're living here you've got quite some busy work to do as well. But then in the months that you're not doing anything, or weeks you're not doing anything, or if you just want to have some creative session with yourself, you want to, you know, come up with new ideas, I guess you move to this house here on this island and then just do nothing but surfing all day and laying on your like beach, your private beach, and just swimming around your own tiny little island, which seems like the perfect distance to swim. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to build a pool in this house, so that's just a little preparation for those of you who want to see a pool. Even though it is a really cool villa, I haven't added one because it wasn't possible to add it on like the regular ground level, and to add it like more up, you know, add it on top of the first level felt sort of weird, and I felt like it would make the house too massive and just not that good looking. And I just also, you know, I mean, look at this place, you don't really need a pool, right? I mean, you can swim in the ocean, you can seriously walk straight from like your living room and your bedroom, literally any room in this house, you can walk straight onto the beach. So I guess having a swimming pool, personally, if I would live here, I would really personally like to add a swimming pool, because I mean, there is quite a difference between swimming in the ocean and swimming in your own pool, but still I felt like it wasn't really necessary in this case. Also because it wouldn't really supplement the architecture, which is what it's mainly about. Even though I think that this is quite a cool house to play in as well. I started up with this idea of that sort of veranda, which I added in the, or this deck, which I added in the front, which has like those moving shutters, or at least what I imagine to be moving shutters, and then behind that some big glass panels which can be moved all open as well, meaning that you've got like all that air and like that sea breeze coming in to your house. And then there is a very long dining table with a really cool bar and kitchen area, and then on the other side there will be the living room. So personally I really like just this house, the way it turned out to be, but also mainly because the lot is so cool. Literally anything you build here becomes a dream, because I mean, a place like this is simply just a dream to live. By the way, if you want to have your Sims live in this place, you can actually do or make them do that, because you can download the house from the gallery. People tend to ask this hundreds of times in each video, so I'll just repeat it once more very clearly. You can go to the gallery and then you can look for Urgent ID DutchSimsMaster, and then there's all my houses. This one is called the Island Vibes Villa, but also all my other island living houses, and just generally all my Sims 4 houses are there, even if they've got custom content, which this one doesn't. They're there, but then you just get to change something in your gallery settings, or just your searching filter, because then you can just say that you allow custom content, and in that case even houses with custom content in it are actually shown in the gallery as well. Actually, the shape of this house was sort of easy to form. That's what I started talking about, that deck, that veranda in the front. That's an idea I started up with. I imagined that to be a really perfect chill out place with the poofs, with just some beautiful framed views of the ocean. And then from there I came up with that idea of there being like the dining area, and then from there I just started creating stuff. I realized that a roof on this wasn't really, or a very visible roof wasn't really any addition, so I decided to create this like half, sort of one-sided diagonal roof, which does make it possible or visible from the island itself. But if you're looking from the sea, you mainly just see the architecture and not really the roof, because I felt like this would be slightly more modern, and all my other houses so far have been quite modern but still traditional because of the roof. Therefore I tried to do something different here this time. And basically there's just decks all around the house, also from like the bedrooms and like everywhere, almost even the bathroom has a deck. And I mean, you want to have that because, I mean, imagine, I'm not too sure actually if I've got a bathroom which has a deck, but at least it's very nearby. But I mean, imagine brushing your teeth, and whenever I'm brushing my teeth, I'll always walk away from the sink. I just walk around, think a little bit until the 2 minutes of brushing your teeth are over. I think very many other people do so as well. But whenever I'm abroad, just on a holiday, I tend to walk around and just try to brush my teeth with the view. So walk away from my bathroom to the view, and then from like any patio or a balcony or whatever, I tend to brush my teeth there. And I mean, when you've got a house like this and you've got a balcony attached to your bathroom, you don't even have to walk that far. And I mean, imagine being able to shower and having like the doors wide open and having that sea breeze come in. I mean, seriously, this could be my dream house. Personally, I think for the architecture, this isn't really my dream house. I like it, but it's not my favorite house I've built. For me personally, if I would live on a tropical island like this, maybe I would rather go for the Maldives villa, which I did a couple of weeks back, just when the new expansion pack came out, because personally I think the architecture of that house is really cool. Also, it's truly on the ocean, which I think is cool. However, if I would build a house for myself in a tropical place like this, I would really prefer it to still be sort of connected to the island it's built on. And that house is really like one of those Maldives villas where it's not attached or connected to just the ground level at all. It's truly just built on water. So it's sort of look for a compromise between those two styles. If I were to ever build like a dream house like this one, but I guess that's never going to be affordable because I mean, these houses are crazy. But anyways, by the way, if you want to see a new Let's Build, I've started a Let's Build in which I'm building a beach club. Of course, also using these island living items. And personally, I'm really happy with the way it's starting to turn out, and I really enjoy creating these Let's Builds again. So just check out the latest episode. I think a new one will be online quite soon because I've actually got a holiday now, which means that I don't have that much uni work to do or university stuff work to do. But still, I'm quite busy just enjoying the sun because seriously in Europe at this moment, probably very many of my viewers are actually from Europe, so you'll all notice, especially those from the Netherlands will know it's been crazy hot, and it's actually getting hotter. Today it's like 34 degrees, which is I don't know how many Fahrenheit, but you know, Americans, you just shouldn't use Fahrenheit. I mean, it's stupid. Everyone uses degrees Celsius, and then you're coming up with Fahrenheit. And just generally, like, I mean, inches, feet, gallons, I'm always so confused whenever I'm reading all those measurements, and every now and then I'm doing some designing assignments for people in the US as well, and then they come up with, I want to have it like 6 feet 2 inches wide, and then I'm like, oh, then I go to the converter and I've got to convert it all, and especially like explaining how tall you are in like American imperial system. I believe that's the imperial system, and the meters is a metric system. But explaining how tall you are in the imperial system is like, I've got no idea. I believe once I try to remember it, and I believe I'm 6 feet and then like 6 feet 1 or 6'1". I believe that's the way they say it as well. I mean, there's so many Americans going to be like, oh, stupid. But because maybe I'm just saying it all wrong. And for you, this is just common sense, but I mean, seriously, for most of us, this isn't. And I mean, it's so logical just working with meters, because centimeters and stuff, it all fits in there. I mean, you've got miles, and then there's no link, for as far as I know, between feet and miles. So you're not able to say, it's very hard to have a relative comparison in that way, I guess. But I believe I saw a video once of what it would cost, and I for the US to go to like the metric system, and I believe that wasn't even the biggest problem. I believe they've almost gone onto the metric system, or just moved there, but for some reason they didn't. Now, it would have been sort of cool if I knew what the reason for it was, but I don't. So you've just got to look that up yourself. Seriously, by the way, those videos like Wendover Productions, half is interesting. All those videos with those cool facts and cool stories of things you're interested in, but you never look up yourself, with those perfect clickbaity titles. I'm seriously addicted to those. Once I get started watching them, I'm watching them for hours, because seriously. And there's one channel talking about planes as well, and like the logistics of planes and stuff. And I personally really like that, because I'm sort of into planes, and also just the way they bring it, with some stupid, still quite funny jokes in between every now and then thrown in there. It's just a lot of fun to watch. By the way, maybe I should sort of explain that currently I'm actually working on that dining area that I explained or talked about previously in this video. And yeah, I really like that bar, just because it is diagonal. It sort of feels weird, but that makes it fun and makes it slightly less expectable, I guess, and just sort of an industrial kitchen, because like I said, this is not a super modern house. This is more sort of or not a super tropical, well, it is a very tropical house, but not a very traditional tropical house. It is sort of modern, or at least that's what I wanted to go for, but still with quite some tropical aspects in there. So sort of that modern tropical vibe, which combines some wood and some more traditional items, maybe slightly industrial as well, simply because that's just a style I like, and I felt like that would be a style that would fit this house. And it's actually just what I would definitely make my house if I would build a tropical house. By the way, one of the other things I wanted to just say about the gallery, because like I mentioned, I uploaded the house to the gallery, but once again, the thumbnail for like the gallery upload was just terrible, because whenever you design a house, there's often one like viewpoint which you like best, or at least one side of the house which you like best. And I always, whenever I upload a house to the gallery, hope that they by default choose the right side to put the thumbnail for like just the gallery picture from. But then almost always it's just like the incorrect side. In this case, it was the side which was is towards the sea, or at least not, from the island towards like just simply from the backside, like an image from the backside, which is like, I mean, how hard can it be to be able to choose your own like image for the gallery? And we had feedback sessions in LA during EA Play. So like at like the last day of EA Play, for us, when we had played The Sims 4 Island Living, there was a feedback session. We could give feedback on Island Living, but also generally mainly just feedback about the game itself. And then this was something which everyone's super passionate about. It was really funny to be able to discuss with very many other simmers who are also passionate about the game and have so many ideas for the game, to like discuss all those ideas with the developers, who really truly seem to be listening, and they had a laptop out and they were just typing all the ideas we came up with, and actually continued asking even more in-depth questions in case we come up with an idea. For instance, I don't actually have one specific idea or a question where they kept on asking us questions about what we would like to see, but that showed that they actually discussed that concept already in the team before, and then they had some questions still, and they actually used this opportunity to ask us questions about that specific feature as well. And also, like I said, for those gallery images, they said that they know that we want it, and I think it's something that will be coming maybe even within a year. This is like definitely not confirmed. This is just truly based on what I expect. From that feedback session, they didn't say it, but I think that they know that we really want it, and I can't imagine that it can be that hard to like make happen, because the problem is that in case you let people upload images just random, they might actually just upload images of a house which is not actually the house that the people will be downloading. So imagine people just build a very ugly house and then they look up an image of a beautiful Sims house and they just upload that as if it is the house they built. In that case, the people who download the building will obviously be disappointed. So that's something I want to prevent. But I mean, how hard can it be to make a tool where you can just look around in the house or look around the house, and then in tab mode maybe even, so that you can just choose your screenshots to be put on the gallery. So maybe it can really be connected, that you can't edit it, you can't add text to it, whatever. So not all out, but then just being able to choose what angle the house is uploaded from, because personally I would really like that feature. And I also noticed actually that whenever the image which is chosen by default by the gallery for an image is right, and actually the side which I designed the house from and the side which I personally think looks best, those houses get downloaded so many more times. And especially with these ones, I mean, sometimes there's a tree in front of a house and you can't even see the entire house, and then you've spent quite a lot of time building that one, and people just miss out because they think, you know, it doesn't look that good, and then they don't actually look for like into the house and don't even think about downloading it, even though it is a house which they might actually like. And this is just one of those ideas we shared. Another thing I really wanted is extendable pillars, because we've now got extendable roofs, which is really cool. But it's sort of weird structurally, because whenever you extend the roofs, you can only on like the lower side add pillars to make it work. But it would have been cool if you would be able to like extend pillars, and of course with move objects on, with specific pillars you can actually move them up to make it work well. But like for some pillars with like more decorative elements, that doesn't work. So being able to just extend it in some way would be really cool. That is one of the suggestions I gave for the game. And furthermore, I would personally really like to see like a tool, or just it to be brought to the game that you know, you've got terrain paint where you can just change the colors of the terrain, but whenever you get to the side of the lot, there's just a very clear edge, and whenever you paint it green and like the surroundings is, say, sand color like it is here, there's just a very clear difference. I mean, there's just simply an edge right between. It would be cool to have some blend in the surrounding of like the lot, so that if you reach the end of the lot, there's some specific or just just simply a blur from the lot to the surrounding or the terrain color of the surroundings. Personally, I think that would be really cool and would make lots blend in way better with its surrounding, because often this sort of creates some struggles with me whenever I try to make a house fit in nicely, but I do want to like use some grass or at least some different colors of terrain paints, especially for instance in Granite Falls, where you've got some green, so you've got green which could act as grass, but then I decide to use a different color grass because I like that more. Then it often ends up looking sort of weird because of that very clear division between like the two tones. Anyways, those are just some ideas I had and which I shared with the developers. So maybe sometime it's coming that we're enthusiastic, but of course they've got so many ideas for many cool tools, and often it is a question of, are we able to like put effort into this, or are there more important things to put effort into? It was very funny as well to notice how some game players or simply, I mean, people who play The Sims, not actually building it, or maybe building it as well, but people who had feedback about playing the game and how they had some very specific ideas of, I mean, they get postcards all the time whenever like some child has a birthday. They get so many postcards or messages that it was becoming sort of annoying. things which I actually never noticed, even though I've been playing the game ever since it came out and like very intensely, but simply because I'm building all the time, I noticed once more that there's just so many ways to play The Sims, which is really cool if you ask me, and which just made it really cool to be there and hear how everyone has so many cool ideas for the game. By the way, now they actually did release something new as well, which is, I believe, stories. And after Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat, who also have stories. Okay, now just joking. These are different kinds of stories. Stories where you can come up with a story for your Sims so that they've got even more depth, I believe, and so that they've sort of got a background story as well. I'm not too sure in what way this will affect gameplay. Like I said, I'm a builder, but this is something, if you're a game player, to check out, because I believe it's sort of cool and adds some kind of cool dimension to the game, or at least that's what I can imagine. You can check it out from cast, so create a sim, and then from there you can just figure out what to do with that story mode, because personally I don't really know what it works like, but I did notice it because I had to create a sim to put in this house to be able to create that overview, which you'll be seeing in a second. Accidentally I clicked on that story mode thing, and then I had to figure out how to get out of there, because personally I'm not really interested in it, but I noticed that it is sort of cool, and I can imagine that it just adds some extra dimension to playing The Sims. But anyways, we're at the end of the video almost. At least I'm just adding a grand piano here because I mean it fills up space really nicely, and that desk just didn't work out, the desk I put in there at first. But anyways, like I said, there will still be an overview at the end of this video, as you're used to from me. And then I would really like to see some comments on this video about generally what you just think of this house, because I would really like to just get your feedback. Also some suggestions for future videos would be really cool, and don't forget to leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet. So thanks for watching this. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Oh, I'm actually just finishing up some outdoor space here because this house has some really cool decks, so obviously you've got to add a barbecue then, and some really cool round tables and stuff. So that's exactly what I'm doing right here in this last phase of the design part. And then this is the end of the video. I hope to see you back later, and I thank you for watching.